Here we go again.
Here we go
Again.
again. Is that a song we just made up?
All songs are made up.
It's funny. They are doing this new thing I saw online where you can get a custom song made for a loved one.
You can do that.
How do you do that?
You just whatever you have to know a little bit about the loved one,
Okay.
put a couple things together, and kind of let
And
you.
you sing it?
I'm not a really good singer. I can put it together. Yeah.
All right, sing a song about me. I'm a loved one.
Give me some content.
You know about me. You know me. What do you
Give me
want
the
to
kind
do?
that you know about you.
What do you mean? You know
She's the
me.
girl who says, "What do you mean?" when you ask her what she's doing. She's doing what she's doing because she knows what she means. Come back next week.
Or don't. Oh, Dad. Never know what to expect from you.
Can we edit that out?
No,
Okay, sorry.
we are real. We are going real. So I was just telling you the story about how it's been really cool to see how people are taking the micro moves from the book Unfunked and applying them to their own. And I just shared
How
with
many
you
are there?
11.
That's correct.
And I just shared with you how a team that took my book, they bought the whole book for their whole team, and they are doing a book club around it. And it's really cool. And I'm copied on the emails. I'm talking about you, Suncoast Blood Banks. Whoop, whoop.
Well, it shows the personal application.
Yes. And it just shows that like it applies, it just reinforces why I wrote the book to begin with. And I just love that I get to share that message, but also that it's people take it on their own way, what it means to them.
When you shed your funk, where does it go?
Well, that's a great question because the thing is that like we talked to somebody else recently who said, shedding your funk can either be like shaking it off or going and sitting on the beach or going for a walk. So it's not that it necessarily goes somewhere, it's just that you let it go. Does that make sense? Like you just kind of like say to yourself, okay, not today, funk, not today.
So, for all you funk producers out there, stop doing that because we're going to shed it and get rid of it. It's a waste of your activity, waste of your energy. Don't funk anybody.
Right. But it's just like it just shows you. I mean, like we all get caught up in some of like the most yucky, nasty funk and how you react to it. I mean, I was in a funk earlier this week. I'm not gonna lie, it totally was. And we went to play pickleball and I was kind of in a funk. And my husband said to me, you're the shed the funk girl. What are you doing? Shake it off, get off this too shall, whatever. Just shed off your funk.
After
And
you hit her in the
I
face with a pickleball.
did.
As Mike Tyson says,
No. But today we get to talk with somebody who really challenged themselves. And I'm excited for you to meet her. She really put herself through such an incredible experience and now uses that experience to help and coach others to shed their funk.
should we do the theme song?
What's the theme song?
Row, row, row your boat gently
Row,
down the
row, row your
stream.
boat
Merrily,
gently down
merrily,
the
merrily,
stream.
merrily, life is but a dream.
Merrily, merrily, life is but a dream. Here we go, let's run.
Okay.
Should we do it for her? Do you like how we did that in rounds? I used to do that when I was a kid. We used to do it like in rounds and you keep
I
going.
don't know her
I
personality.
think she totally will. She totally will. Hi, Anna.
Hello, hi Jamie.
Hi. Good to see you. This is
Hello.
my dad, Stan.
Hey, Anna.
Lovely to meet you, Stanley.
Good to see you on terra firma.
On
And
what?
Land, terra firma.
Oh.
oh,
What the hell?
So I always, okay, it's Anna, not Anna, correct?
correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
just make sure I did that. Then I was like, wait a second. You just missed, you'll see it when the episode goes live, but we can do the rendition for you right now. Are you ready, Dad?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're gonna show you our song in rounds. Okay, go.
Row, row, row your boat
Row,
gently down
row,
the
row your
stream.
boat
Merrily,
gently down
merrily,
the
merrily,
stream.
merrily, life is but a dream.
Merrily, merrily,
Row,
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 row. Okay,
row.
done.
That's so good.
Thank you. We
Congrats,
appreciate
Stan.
it.
She's so nice.
I know. Is that a song that you know very well?
I think I've sung that a few times. We might be on the same playlist then.
She started out with a million bottles of beer in the wall, a million bottles of beer.
Well, we are going to talk about why that song resonates with you. But first of all, thanks for being a guest. We are recording. You are live now. And so we're going to start off by asking you our first question that we ask all of our guests to see where your head is at.
Can you send us some money?
That's not the
Oh,
question.
wrong podcast?
Well, we've been together all day, so he's a little
Maybe
punchy
send
right
me some more back, honestly.
yeah.
It's a
So
tough economy now.
there you go. He's a little punchy. So what is your number on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being it's the best day you've ever had, you've never felt better, to a 1 being a day that you should not be peopling. Go. What's your number?
Oh, that's a tough one.
The fractions do count. Fractions count.
I think I'm right in the middle, honestly.
5?
Yeah, it's not like one of those days where I wake up, I'm like, woo, best life ever. It's also not one of those days where I'm like, okay, I don't want to see friends or hang out with people. So no, we're
That's
coasting.
honest. That's
I
honest.
like it. I like your real answer. What would it take for you today just to go 0.25 higher?
Oh, I've been like 3 levels higher just seeing you guys. So,
Oh, yes.
but
Ooh,
we're
big
right
high five.
How
there.
about this? How about this one? Woo!
This is going to be a great session. So.
Okay, thanks for sharing. We'll see you next week. Always quit on top.
Well, it is so good to have you on here, and we want to hear your story. We want to talk about who you are. And listener, if you're paying attention, you can tell there's a little bit of an accent happening there. So we'll dive into that. Not an accident, an accent. And we'll dive into that.
You're an
Yeah.
accident.
Oh, I was an accident.
No, I can't.
Look at that. Look at that. Apparently, I was an accident.
Hey,
Middle child needs to hear that. That really works well. But you have a brother. Do you have other siblings as well too? Anna?
Just a brother. You're the middle child, Jamie?
I am. Does that explain a
Mhm.
lot?
I don't know. I mean, I only have an older brother, so
I may not
Oh.
know about the
tell
middle.
me more about being a middle child.
Oh no, we don't have time for that. I got to talk to my therapist about that one. Well, that one deserves cocktails. Um, Anywho, so we want to get to know who you are. And obviously, for those that know your name or maybe heard us singing our song, they know that there's something maybe related to that. And we'll get to that in a minute. But let's start with like where you grew up and tell us a little about yourself, about where your life started to become this amazing human. So you are obviously were not born in the States. So tell us about
Yeah, you're correct there. I was gonna say Texas maybe is the state.
that.
I'm familiar, South Carolina. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm perfecting my southern accent. I
Oh my God,
Very
he sounds
good.
like my
I
husband when he tries to do it. It's like
I
he
call
tells me
my
when I put on an English accent, I sound like Dick Van Dyke, and I said, "Well, when you put on a country accent, I don't even know what you sound like." So yeah, go
well, your
on.
husband's from England, so
Mhm.
you should be pretty good at a British
Mhm.
accent by now. But no, I call my dad back at home in England, and I pick up the phone like, "Hey y'all," he's like, "Stop that right now, Anna." Not how I raised you, but no, I'm so grateful to be here now in the United States, but born and raised obviously in the UK, in a very landlocked part of England, the countryside. It's called the Cotswolds. It's beautiful
Oh,
area of natural, outstanding beauty, but I guess ironically, nowhere near the ocean or water. And now I live here in paradise in the gorgeous Florida, and I wake up every day and I'm just so grateful for where I am.
what is a Cotswold?
Hold on. You know what's funny is they say the Cotswolds are the new Hamptons. Like it's now
What's a
like
Cotswold?
I don't know what is a Cotswold.
So technically the word Cotswolds actually means literally translated sheep on a hill. There are a lot of hills and a lot
A
of
lot of
sheep.
sheep.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Cool.
that's the Cotswolds.
But
Yes.
I've never been actually. We keep talking. I want to go. I've been to London m multiple times. My husband's English, as you know, so we've been going to London since we met. I'd never been before I met him.
The countryside's
Yeah, but
gorgeous.
I've never else. But yeah, they are saying that it's like the Hamptons now. Like there's so many celebrities that are buying there and being there. But so you were there until the age of what? You grew up there until what age?
My whole life, honestly, until I went to university. I went to a British boarding school, and my brother also went to a British boarding school. But you, Jamie, you have siblings. So I don't know if you found the same that I did, but having an older brother, I just wanted to be like my brother. So he went to boarding school. I was like, I want to go to boarding school. He played the guitar. I tried that. Ultimate fail. Also singing, my parents were like, Anna, maybe not. But my brother also was a rower, and that was the first thing that I did, that he did, and I fell in love with it right away. So I don't know if you spent that time kind of supporting your siblings in their endeavors on the weekend like I did, but mostly it was on the side of the river in England, as you know, the pouring rain, eating bacon sandwiches, watching my brother row.
Wow. Where'd you go to university?
I then got a scholarship to Clemson. So that was my first, I guess, taster of you, if you will, of really full life in the US. My mum's actually American, my dad's British, and I like to say I grew up with the best of both worlds, being able to embody both cultures, which I'm sure your daughter Hannah does as well, which is a privilege in itself. But yeah, I went to Clemson. That's the first time I realized I actually wasn't very good at rowing specifically. I liked it, but I was pretty bad when you're surrounded by very high-powered athletes and you just come from a little town in the middle of the Cotswolds.
Why did you go to what was your it was an academic scholarship?
It was a sports scholarship, but honestly, I picked Clemson because being English, I watched all the American high school movies growing up, like High School Musical, Wild Child, all these movies. And I was like, Mom, I want to go to America where there's football teams and school spirit. And oh my gosh, Clemson couldn't have been better for all of the above. Had Greek life, I was in a sorority, dated a football player. I was just living the best life that I could
So
ever
you didn't
live.
want to, so you could have stayed in England to go to university, but you were like, nope, I'm going to go. And you, was the sports scholarship for rowing?
It was indeed.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you're living in the Cotswolds. Your brother was a rower. Is that, and he started rowing through the boarding school, and then you went to the boarding school. And was the boarding school in London close to the river?
It wasn't in London, it was in Cheltenham, which
Um,
is there's so many rivers in the UK,
Okay,
so
got
we did have access to the water
got it.
there.
So that's where you left like the hill on a sheep, went to boarding school,
Sheep.
sheep on a hill, got into rowing. And you're, how many years apart are you and your brother too?
Actually, seven.
Oh,
7 years
7 years.
apart, yeah. But
Oh, wow.
he's my best friend. I mean, even today I call him up and I ask for guidance. What should I do with this? And yeah,
Love
he's still my
that.
hero and my idol. So I'm very grateful and blessed to have a close relationship with my family.
That is so incredible. I love that. So he goes and he goes to boarding school. Did he go to university on a scholarship for rowing as well too, to Clemson? Seeing as that you
No,
like to follow his path.
he did not. He took a different trajectory in life and yeah, he was then working in London at that point, in kind of the corporate world. So
Okay, so then you go to Clemson, you become a rower.
yeah.
You realize you're not as good as the rest of the team, but you stick with it.
Yeah, and when I say I wasn't as good as the rest of the team, so imagine I'm a British girl. I've just landed in Clemson. I know nobody in this state of South Carolina, let alone even the small town of Clemson. And I'm 3,000 miles away from home, and I was so lost. I mean, college is scary anyway when you
Well,
go to university and you kind of
this
show
was
up as a
foreign to you,
freshman.
sure.
Yeah, but I was just like, where am I? And the first day of practice, I ended up spraining my ankle. The second day of practice, I thought I could fight through it, being kind of that wanting to prove myself on the second day of 50 girls on the team trying to compete for a spot. And I passed out. And then by the third day, I think everyone was just thinking, like, who's this girl? Is she gonna survive? And I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no hope for me at this point. But have you ever been in an environment where it's very competitive, but then you also get the results at the end of the day? So for us, after practice every morning, our coach would literally send out a spreadsheet. And on the spreadsheet was all the girls' names, all 50 of us, and our times from that session. And you can imagine where my name was. It was at the very bottom of the list, which is ultimately the slowest on the team. And I just called up my mum in tears. My mum, I can't do this. This is not for me. There's no way I'm going to be able to survive here. These girls are so much faster and stronger than me. And at that time, actually, I think that was the first time that I really learned something that changed my mindset for life, not just in rowing or sports, but in everything I do. And my mum, 3,000 miles on the end of the phone, she's like, Anna, instead of seeing it as a challenge to beat the girl in front of you, see it as an opportunity to make yourself faster, better, and stronger. And that's exactly what I needed to hear. I was like, oh my gosh, instead of focusing on them, focus on myself. Instead of going to fraternity parties, which were really fun, instead of going to football games on Saturdays, I was in the gym, I was doing extra training sessions, I was running laps around campus, like whatever I could do to get that competitive advantage. And oh, it paid off tremendously. My name increased in the list, and by my senior year, it featured at the top of the list quite a few times.
Whoa. So she was the storm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So
So it was a long journey at
did you find a
Clemson.
balance there to have like the social life and the athletic life, or was it, did you, because you said you joined a sorority. What sorority were you in? Let's give them a shout out.
It was Go Delta Zeta.
Nice. Okay.
DZ.
I'm a Delta, Delta, Delta. So
Oh
there you
no,
go.
you're
Yeah.
Chi
I'm an
Del.
okie dokie.
So
But
good.
So, I mean that's hard. Like I know seeing my friends when I was in college that it's a balance. Like if you even from cheerleading to soccer to football, you have to like it's a hard balance to navigate the fun side and the social side and also the
Well, how
serious
long
athletics.
was rowing practice every day?
Yeah,
It
probably.
was every day apart from Sundays.
Ooh,
So,
man.
but it
And in
was
the
a lot.
morning.
In the morning, it's one of those sports that we've worked out for 3 hours before the average person wakes up. That's just rowing
Wow. Your
wherever you
metabolism
are.
must have been off the charts.
Oh yeah. Thank goodness I was on a meal plan. Oh my gosh. Unlimited catering.
Oh, geez. So you do that. I mean, what an incredible thing. What did you study while you were there?
Economics.
Okay, why?
It, international, I think embodying that ability to travel, to go and live anywhere, work anywhere, especially with the US and GB relationship. It just allowed me to view the world on that macro scale. So,
So
yeah.
you graduate, you're top of your game. What happens to somebody who's an excellent rower in college? Like what comes next?
Well, I think, have you ever like run a marathon or 5K even, anything like
I've
that?
I've I've run walked a 5K. Actually, no, I
Okay.
did I remember I lived in Chicago and I forget what race it was. It may have been like a turkey trot or a 5K or something like that. And I remember I like did most of it and I got to the end, I was so tired, and this little old man came by me. He's like, "You can do it." And I was like, "He can barely walk. I can finish." That's the only memory I have of that. And I finished.
Well, well done. Kudos to you, because even that's an accomplishment, right? So many of us don't even do that. So I think having been on the water for such a key and part of my life, it made me think literally, okay, I love being out here. I want to be on the ocean and the water way more than I do in classrooms. And I asked myself, what is the furthest somebody can row? And it just happens to be across the largest body of water, which is ultimately the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. So now, today, I've
Were you
blessed
drunk when you made that decision?
to be able to, yeah,
Because
I think,
all your experience up to had been on rivers, correct?
yeah, rivers and canals, pretty much.
So you're
Yeah.
just like sitting around being like, "What's the furthest someone's rowed? I'm gonna do it."
Yeah, I just wanted to be on the water as long as I could. And I don't know how to sail. Everyone associates, they're like, "Oh, you're such a good sailor." And how long did it take you to sail? I'm like, "No, no, no. This is totally different. A sailboat, you have the wind in your favor. You have all these ropes to help you out. You also have a galley and a toilet on board." For us, it was none of that. Like I just had a pair of oars and myself in a boat, and I just wanted to be on the water all day,
You
every
wanted to
day.
row across the Atlantic. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes. So that then sparked the dream.
Well, you said the Atlantic or the Pacific. So which one was more favorable to you? Like the Atlantic?
Different, both totally different in different ways. And I think in life as well, people start businesses. We have our physical journeys that we go through of whether it's weight loss or whether it's overcoming anxiety or quitting smoking or addictions, for example. Or if you are starting writing a book, everybody's process looks so different. And same for me, even though I'd rowed across one ocean, the second ocean was totally different. So when I say different, they were different in the size of the waves. My teammate, I actually did the Pacific with one of my best
You've done two
You
oceans?
said it more than twice. How many times have you done it now?
only twice.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, twice. Okay. So the
Yeah.
first time you did it was the
Don't tell
Atlantic.
my husband.
Okay.
No,
He only thinks once.
I've
I
done it
got
twice, but I'm like, things come in threes, so
That's funny. So the first one you decided to do was the Atlantic, is that correct?
correct.
And how did you like, okay, because those rowboats that, and for those listeners, you can Google her and see it, but I've seen the picture. That is not a crew rowboat. It's not like a boat that you would do row crew in. So tell us about how like that all came together. Like you make this decision, I'm going to row across the Atlantic. What do you do next?
Yeah, so I was at Clemson when I was kind of exploring the idea. And then life happens, right? The typical trajectory is you go to university, you get a degree, you get a job after that, you live in a city or somewhere and you start working. Like that's when you move, fly away from the nest and you're kind of on your own. And that's exactly what I did. And I found myself in London working my first professional job as a technology consultant for a company in the UK, but based out of Denmark. I liked it, but when I sat at my desk every morning, I was like, there is something else that's calling me. And I'd do the regular commute on the underground or I'd bike to work, and you just kind of end up being in this rut. And my brother was also living and working in London at the time, and he had actually just swam across the English Channel. So that's from England to France, and it took him about 14 hours in one go, self-supported, and it was quite a tremendous feat for him to do that.
Where
And
did this, did either of your parents do this? Like you guys both are a little like over, yeah, like overachievers. Like this was just in your DNA.
not at all. I think my parents are still trying to figure out like where did these genes come from?
When
Yeah.
you say he swam self-supported, he was just a lone swimmer?
Yes, exactly. There was a little boat next to him, but he wasn't able to touch it. He wasn't able to, it was more just for to guide the route. As obviously across the channel, this it's very highly trafficked area with a lot of shipping lanes
Why
from
do that exactly? Which just because.
I guess he got an idea in his head and that was it. But
Okay. All right.
because he had done that, I was like, wait a minute. My brother's name is Cameron. I said, Cameron, you like the water. And I said, I have an idea that we should row across the Atlantic Ocean. And I said, would you want to do it with me? You clearly love being in the water. And he has had rowed previously, so he had that experience. And without hesitation, my brother just was like, yeah, let's do it. And we were at that time in life where you're working, but there is something stirring on your heart. So why not, when you're young and able to do something like that, although we were severely broke at the time, being new to London and spending all our money on high teas and gin and tonics. Yeah, that's kind of sparked the whole movement. And that's when we then created our team name, which was, are you ready for this?
The
Yeah.
Wackadoodles.
That would have been a good one. That would your team name could be the Wackadoodles. We named ourselves the Siblings. So
Oh, that's
siblings,
cute.
Very nice.
Very good. Okay.
but like the Wackadoodles.
Yes,
It
yes.
started as a joke,
We're gonna take our show.
and then it
So
stuck.
you make the decision, you give yourself the name, but how do you even, I mean, people before you have done this, right? You were not the first to do it.
No.
You said you were so broke, so I imagine you have to get a boat. You have to figure out how like how that's going to work. So walk us through that process.
Exactly right, Jamie. So the naive 19-year-old or 21-year-old Anna was thinking, oh, I know how to row, just get in a boat and off we go. I literally thought it was that simple. And it's un rowing in an ocean is unlike a
Oh,
soccer game or a football game. You can't just pick up a tennis racket and then go hit the ball. There is so much, even in rowing in general, that you have to prepare. Your boat, your equipment, your navigation, the weather is a huge part of that as well. So I thought we just get in a boat and row. It wasn't until I realized that it actually took us about 2 years of full preparation just to
wow.
get to the start line. And that preparation was the fundraising. We had to raise £200,000, which is the equivalent of about $240,000. That's partly the boat, partly the oars and the equipment, the water maker. There's not enough room to put all of the water bottles on board, so we had a desalinator unit,
Wow.
which something like that costs about $5,000. So it added up very quickly, and that's when I learned, I think, the skills of networking, sponsorship proposals, branding, and it was so much more than just us rowing an ocean. It became a campaign, it became a marketing content where we were kind of the face of that, but we had to unite and bring together everybody who wanted to be part of that journey,
Wow.
which we named hashtag same boat. Are you in the same boat with us? So
That's so cool. Did you,
Well, is it one boat for two of you or two
yeah, one
boats?
boat.
One boat.
just one boat.
Did you keep working while you were doing this for the 2 years, or did you quit and focus fully on this?
Oh gosh, I wish I could quit, but no, I was working. And that was what was so brutal. It was the mornings we'd be up before dawn, we'd be working out in the gym, we'd go to a spin class together. Unfortunately, I had my brother, so we did a lot of it together, which was so nice. I couldn't imagine just having this dream and
Well,
doing it alone. So in the mornings we would do that pre-work, and then during work, lunchtimes, I'd be on the phone, I'd be door knocking at companies down the road in the city of London, like, hey, this is me, this is my dream. What are your goals for the year? Can we align on with those goals? But it was brutal. I remember one day in particular, I was actually hosting my best friend's birthday party. She's been my best friend since I was 11 years old. And it was on the rooftop of my apartment building. And I missed the entire birthday party. I was sitting at my kitchen table writing a and filling out a sponsorship application form, which did end up being our biggest sponsor, but still you think, okay, is this worth the sacrifice? Is this worth the risk? And being a brother and sister, I mean, you have children, you have siblings, and you guys know that 2 hours in the car together to Disney World can be hard enough.
Right.
Imagine like 2 years of this very intense and highly stressful preparation. Now you've got 2 months in a boat together. Like the ultimate risk through all of this was really, oh, am I going to tear my family apart during this, or is it going to bring us closer together?
How long ago was this?
So that was in 2019 is when we set off, which seems like yesterday, but my goodness, it was, yes,
And it
six.
sounds as if Cameron had decided not to go, you would have still gone by yourself.
That's a really good question. I think I would have, but I'm so happy I didn't. Like, I'm
Now,
so
you've
glad.
been on multiple journeys. Has he been on all the journeys with you?
No, so for the Pacific, I obviously asked him, but he was like, "No, I'm gonna settle down, like live a normal life, get married, all those things," which didn't end up happening. But I actually went with my friend from university, which brought a totally new perspective, totally different learnings, and it's amazing how, as a person, like I was saying earlier, you experience something once, but then the second time you do that, you have a whole new perspective and you become a leader. And it's really cool to kind of see that transition of before I was just his little sister rowing an ocean, and this time for the Pacific with my best friend, I was having to lead and guide and stepped up into that role. And it's kind of formed who I
Now,
am today.
unlike sailing where you see where you're going, you're really backwards. So you're seeing where you've been. You have no idea where you're going.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, rowing's weird in that sense. It encompasses a lot of trust because of that. So similarly in a business, right? If you can't
Sure.
always see what your team's doing, you can't even see what that person's doing when they're working from home. I can't always see the person behind me. In fact, I can never see them. So you have to trust that they're in rhythm. You have to trust they're putting in that full effort and that we're heading towards that vision together.
Now, the Vikings developed ships. Their success was due in part they could function on the rivers, but they're also seaworthy. Did you get a stock boat for yourself, or was it you dug up an old Viking skull or something? Or
In what regard?
well, what kind of the boat you chose to row across? Just a regular rowboat, or was specifically designed to row across the ocean?
Well, unlike the Viking ships, we did not have to fight anybody off, apart from a few sharks. So we didn't have any shields made out of steel or anything like that, you know. But ultimately, it was imagine a normal rowing boat, but kind of inflated. If you had an inflatable rowing boat, we did have two cabins. So there's the stern cabin and the bow cabin. When I say cabin, this is not what you see on your traditional luxury super yacht. It's basically if you were to lie in your bathtub and put a bathtub on top of you, that is the size of the cabin. And you can imagine when you're sloshing amongst the waves, which are 60 feet tall, and the wind's blowing and the waves are smacking on the side of the boat. And it's extremely hot outside too, as we got closer to the finish line towards Antigua from the Canary Islands, that 3,000-mile trip, it was getting so humid inside too. So it was really claustrophobic and honestly just really uncomfortable.
So wait, you have nobody, it's just the two of you in the ocean. There's nobody looking out for you. There's no plane watching you to make sure that you live. You're gone for 2 months and your parents are just like, cool, we'll see you in 2 months.
Yeah,
Yes,
pretty much. It was inflatable, the boat?
it
No.
wasn't inflatable, but it looked as if you kind of
Awesome.
blew up a normal rowing boat. It was just very
I
big like
mean, did
that.
you talk about if you died on the trip? Like, did you talk about with your parents? Like, both of their kids? Like, did you have those conversations?
So I don't know about you guys, but I'm very much an optimist. And ask my husband, I mean, he's an engineer, so he thinks very logically, but I'm like, oh, everything will be fine. It'll work out how it's supposed to. Like, trust God and everything's gonna work out. Like, it's meant to be.
Anna, a lot of people who die don't expect to die.
Oh, no, no. I know. But hey, I'm here with you guys
Yeah. I
today
mean, but
on
the thought never crossed your mind, like I may not make it out of this alive.
Um, so there was one point in the ocean where that thought did cross my mind. But before I get to that, we actually had to sign a waiver before we launched
Good
off into
choice of words.
the seas.
Waiver. Sorry.
Okay, good
But
one.
like, but what kind of waiver?
Well, it typically a waiver is, the terms and conditions are pages and
Right.
pages, and you kind of just click it and move on. For
Right.
us, it was just four simple questions. Are you willing to risk everything? Um,
Yes.
are you willing to risk colliding with another vessel, which could be
Yes.
500 times bigger than ourselves? Are you willing to risk capsizing, getting thrown into an ocean 27,000 feet deep? And
Whoosh.
then the final question was, are you willing to risk death? And I think that
Who
was
had you sign this? Who is that? Who produced
The
that?
devil.
Shut up. Who produced
that.
that?
So that was from the race organizers,
And
and it is
you had to check,
it is
obviously, you had to check all
race.
four yeses.
Yes. Mm,
That's
yes.
from the front.
But we did. I kind of peeked over to make sure my brother had signed it too, though. And yeah, that is something you have to think about as well, is not just yourselves dying, but what if somebody on land very close to us passed away whilst we were out there?
Yeah.
You have to discuss whether or not you'd want to get that news.
Sure.
And if it's somebody in our family and I say no, my brother says yes, and he's crying and I'm wondering
Sure.
what's going on. So you really
Yeah.
do have to be on the same page for everything. Yeah,
How
it
do you
was.
communicate? I mean, can you communicate? Because there's not like internet in the middle of the ocean. So how do you communicate? What was that? Like, was that like?
Yeah, no, good question. And even if you guys have ever been boating off of land here, even
Yeah.
12 miles offshore and there's no signal. So
Yeah.
you lose that cell service very quickly. But and it was actually funny because I had some of my friends on Find My iPhone and they would sometimes look at me like, oh, I wonder where Anna is. And there I am in the middle of an ocean, not at a cocktail bar. But you have something called a BGAN, which it's a device about the size of a laptop, and it connects to the nearest satellite. So halfway across the Atlantic, we were connecting to the Russian satellite, and then as we progressed towards the Caribbean, we then connected to the US satellite dish. And as you can imagine, when the waves are rocking like
Oh,
this,
man.
there is no straight line to that satellite. So the connection goes in and out very quickly. It drains the battery very quickly, and it's honestly more hassle than it is reward.
And it's solar charged.
It was, well, we have solar panels on our boat, which then produce the power to the batteries that
Got
we
it.
can then use. But it was great to kind of communicate with land, but it's just not as simple as you can't just sit and scroll on Instagram or Facebook, and you can't just pick up the phone at any time. You really have to think of managing your battery power, making sure that first and foremost, we're able to see our chart plotter and how many miles we have to go. Are we on the right track and course and things like that, as opposed to, hey, I'm just gonna call somebody and get a weather update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell us about the near-death experience. What was that?
She
So
had
the
one
near
too?
death, yeah, the only time I really questioned my life being out there was one night where the winds were so strong that it made the changeover very difficult. And when I say changeover, my brother and I rode in 2 hour shifts. So 2 hours on the oars and then 2 hours off, but we would rotate. So really, we weren't rowing together much of the time. And
And that
one
was like for like there was no break at all. No break. So constantly for 2 months you were rowing every 2 hours.
Exactly. So around the clock, 2 hours. So 2 o'clock in the morning, you'd wake up, have your shift until 4 a.m., go to sleep for 2 hours or rest, recover, hydrate, try and eat something if you're not puking over the side of the boat, which happened very frequently. Um, but this one night in particular, I was on the oars and my brother and I, he knocked on the cabin because the conditions were so forceful and monstrous. I think we had like 40-foot waves that evening, and not just swells or what you see in the at the beach, like every 13
Sure.
wave a wave comes in. It was these big crashing waves where they would peak and then they would curve with the white caps. And my brother would knock, and I'd have to check and kind of say, "Yep, okay, good," to open the cabin door. And then he'd open and say, "Hey, like, how's everything going out there?" And I said that night, I said, "It's not worth us switching and him coming onto the oars
Sure.
because it was so dangerous for us to stop moving the boat. Because the boat, in that time of 2 minutes of us changing and not rowing, the boat could have turned around, it could have capsized, it could have flipped, and we wouldn't have been able to get it back in line and on course. So it was also obviously everything bad happens after midnight. So it had kind of the sun had set and it had now become pitch black outside. So I couldn't no longer see these huge waves, which
Oh,
were mountains. And at first you could see the silhouette, and then suddenly you couldn't see anything. So they were coming straight on. But at this time as well, our auto steering had broken. So we didn't have a steering attila that was able to just keep us on course automatically. Instead, we had to look at the compass, which was tiny. It's about 4 feet in front of you, and uh, and just move my foot a little bit left, a little bit right to keep within the heading, within 10 degrees. But as soon as it would flip, a wave would come, it could flip us off course, and then I'd have to very quickly spin us back around. And that night, I remember sitting there and just holding on for my dear life. Just my knuckles were clenched, they were white, and I was holding those
what
oars
percent were you
tightly
into
as
the
I
trip at
could.
that? More than half finished? Were you halfway? Where were you? At what point in the
Oh no,
journey?
this was about day 16. So it was
Oh,
pretty
wow.
early on. But that night I was just holding on for my dear life. And I remember looking up to the sky, being like, please, God, if you're there, and I know you are, just like, this is the night that I'm probably gonna die.
Jeez.
Um, but you also have to have hope and you have to just power on. It wasn't like I was going to stop rowing, so I just kept rowing. And I realized that the stronger I actually took the stroke, I could kind of surf the waves. And we actually increased our speed and hit our top speeds that night. So
Wow.
even in a circumstance where you think it's so dangerous, you're so scared, you're so frightened, you can actually come out on top, having achieved something greater than you ever thought you could.
What was your speed? Approximate speed?
Our average speed was about 2.6 knots, and that night I hit a top speed of 8.2 knots.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Wow. How
We
long did
almost
you row
love it.
for? How long did you row for?
And so the whole trip took us 43 days, and that evening I probably rode about 7, 8 hours.
Great.
And then
Um,
did you go back to the two on, two off, or did he take over for
yeah,
real?
we went back to 2 over.
When you go to the top of the wave, you go wee. No wee.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, how is it not like I don't know how are you not flipping over? Like how are those waves not knocking you over? The rowboat is just stable that like I don't even know.
Oh, they easily could have. And when I say the more effort I put in, I think the less likely we were to flip over. And if you think of a boat, there's two ways you can capsize. You can capsize horizontally, so laterally, which is like the beam width, if you will,
Yeah.
Mhm,
and then you can capsize the actual length of the boat, which is called pitch poling,
mhm.
and that was more dangerous, and that's what we were in for that evening. But yeah, I realized the more effort you put into those oars, the more fun you could have, the faster you could go,
She's crazy.
and
She's
actually the
crazy.
less risky it was.
Was the hidden electric motor damaged at all?
Uh, it was burnt out. So these, and so was I, in all honesty. I was burnt
Man,
out at that
wow.
point too. But I think these motors are made for speedboats. So they're made to go in a straight line, zooming 20 knots down the coast of Siesta Key. And our boat just, it was constantly moving. And I think it just couldn't keep up with the way that the boat was
Wow.
moving.
I
Yeah.
mean, I know you are working on a book to share about all the ins and outs of the story. But your book is it a story? Is your book positioned in a way to tell all things that happened on the experiences? Is that what your book is about?
Yeah, so the book is it's positioned into from two lenses. The first is the story of myself from being a little girl with this big dream that many people said was impossible. There's no way you can do that, absolutely not. But it's really there to encourage the reader to achieve that dream with an actual toolkit to go from having a dream to not just turning it into a reality, but a successful reality as well.
Wow.
So each chapter is split into two. The first half of the chapter is my story or a story from the journey. The second half of the lessons and worksheets, etc., for the reader.
Hey, pictures and videos from the on cruise on the ship.
Yeah, she posts a lot of stuff.
Videos
So
too.
many. Yeah, I will share them with you
Oh,
guys so you can
fabulous.
Yeah.
see some.
And can our listeners see those? Oh, is there a YouTube channel they can see some of all those videos somewhere?
There's not a YouTube channel, but we have a lot posted on Instagram. I myself continue to post and reminisce the days from the trips, and it gets me excited for when the next trip is as
She's
Ah,
she's a
yeah.
crazy
Well,
one.
how long? So that one was 40 days, and then you chose, and obviously, the relationship with your brother is different than with a friend, right? Like you don't really want to have a fallout with your brother because that's family. You don't want to tear your family apart. But then you did it again across the Pacific, so it was totally different. And you went where? So you went from the Canary Islands to Antigua. Is that what I heard you say?
Correct.
Okay. So before we went to Pacific, were there people there waiting for you, and were your parents there when you guys got there? And like
Yeah,
a big celebration and really just incredible moment.
amazing. I couldn't have imagined a better welcome. And Antigua, if you've ever been, and if you haven't, you should go because the community there is just so welcoming as well. Yeah.
So cool. I remember we've watched what is the story of I think she's Australian, the girl who sailed across the ocean by herself in the pink vessel.
Oh,
Oh, I watched it with my daughter and I can't remember what it's called, but it was just so incredible. You guys need a document. You need a movie like that. If there's not one, people need to do a movie about you because I think it's so what a cool story. But then you chose to do it again across the Pacific with a friend. And how long did that one take you? And where'd
so
you
that
go? You
was
started where and went to where?
yeah, so I guess the Pacific, it's the mid-Pacific. So it was from Monterey Bay, California to Kauai, Hawaii.
Wow.
And that was 2,800 miles, which was 2,000 or 200 miles shorter than the Atlantic. But
Mhm.
the conditions we faced were just so much slower. So it actually took us longer, 47 days.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Not to be weight orientated, but what did you weigh before you left and what'd you weigh when you landed?
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh, I was thinking about this. So this morning for breakfast, I had pancakes with Nutella, right? And I was thinking, whilst I was spooning out that Nutella onto my pancake, I was like, oh, I should probably like not have three spoonfuls and just have two. But then it's funny you asked because I was thinking about this morning and how on the row I literally had the world's largest tub of Nutella. And I would just sit there in the cabin on my off shift, or if I was tired at night during my shift, I would just put the oars down for a quick second. We called it a Ferrari pit stop. Grab that whole jug of Nutella, scoop out five, six, seven spoonfuls and eat them. And
It's a new addiction.
I hope they
for
were a
me,
sponsor. I really hope they
for
were a sponsor.
eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, were they a
Oh, I
sponsor?
know. I would love them to sponsor for the next one. Shout out to Nutella, please sponsor me. Um, but yeah, I actually ended up losing 20 pounds on the first row, and the second
Wow.
row, I think it was a bit less than that. But how can you lose so much weight when you're literally eating
When you're
Nutella every
constantly
day?
burning calories.
You still feel as strong at that lower weight?
Yeah,
Well,
you
muscle.
burn about 10,000 calories a day. So
Wow.
we did have to eat like very highly calorific foods. Most of those were freeze-dried meals, the ones that you can buy at REI. You take them camping with you. The only thing is when you take them camping, have you ever tried them?
No.
So they're actually not awful, but that's usually because you put in boiling water and then you let it sit and it actually tastes like a decent meal. But for us out there in the ocean, do you think boiling water on a tiny ocean rowing boat when you only have 2 feet to either side of you is safe? No. So we mostly had to put in freezing cold water and then we would just leave it on deck to warm up in the sun. And that was our new form of slow cooking. Yeah, and it just wasn't as delicious as it's supposed to
We will
be.
not discuss sanitary conditions on the ship.
No, they had a bucket, right? Did you have a bucket?
No, you
Oh
need to tell
yeah.
Oh,
she
we didn't tell. Oh,
used the
yeah.
bathroom once when she got to Antigua.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, and then her brother, there's another story. Her brother got really sick. And I mean, so what was the biggest difference between rowing with your brother and rowing with your friend? I don't know that I love my girlfriends, but spending time in a high pressure environment with some of them, I'm not sure how we would come out friends afterwards.
Yeah, and that's a real risk for sure. When you're out there in the ocean or any expedition that you do, any prolonged period of time where you're away from your cell phone, you don't have makeup on, your hair isn't beautiful, and you're sore, blistered, and exhausted. Anytime you put your body in that environment, you are going to be your most raw self.
Yeah.
And that's raw in the sense of physicalness, but also emotions. You say things that you probably shouldn't say because you are tired and you just need
Mhm.
to let it out. But I'd say one thing for both of my trips that I am so grateful to is the humor and the genuine organicness that of that relationship that we have with my brother and with my teammate Jenny. We just get on, we laugh, we joke, we make up alter egos. So if you don't have an alter ego, your alter ego is your middle name, which is then shortened. So mine is Elizabeth, so I shortened it to Lizzie. And then it's your grandmother's maiden name. So I became Lizzie Jones. And I think just making light of any situation, any adversity that you're facing, you can kind of be like, oh, Lizzie Jones is coming out today, and she's just having fun, and she's thinking, what the heck are we doing out here in the middle of an ocean when somebody's in a comfortable bed and just had a
Mhm.
home-cooked meal? And I think some people don't even know we're out here. So
Yeah.
you kind of question your life. But yeah, it was a good experience with both of them.
Now, because it was a very dark sky environment, can you talk about stargazing or even seeing an unidentified flying something?
Oh my goodness.
See, go ahead, go.
I don't even know how to describe the beauty of our planet. It is so special. It's huge. We are just this tiny little drop on this earth. We mean nothing. When you go out there and you see just how gorgeous this world is and how minute we are, you want to hug it. You want to hold it with everything that you have and just love it. And it really gives you a totally different perspective on life in general. The Milky Ways, the galaxies, you could see all of it, and it's as if it was in reach. A snow globe? Snow globes are so pretty. I wish they would make a snow globe, but with stars and kind of a water and ocean at the bottom, because that's how I felt. I felt like that tiny snowman with the beauty of the world around me. And I would encourage anybody to just take a moment to go to the beach one night, look up at the stars, breathe, and just give thanks. Give thanks for what we have and for what you have, and appreciate everything that this earth is.
I
So
love it.
nothing unidentified
No
flying by.
UFOs. You never saw a UFO?
No UFOs, no spaceships, although you could see like the satellites very clearly and things like that. But
No, once you when you see the Milky Way in those conditions,
there
it
were
is
some
it's
cool.
life changing. It's incredible.
No, you have, is it 5 world records?
I have 3 world
Oh, three.
records.
Okay. And what are they for?
So the first ever brother and sister to row an ocean, the fastest mixed pair, and then for the Atlantic, and then the youngest females to row across the Pacific.
Not bad for the girl
Wow.
who came in last.
Right.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I mean, another thing, we never set out to make or break world records. And I think sometimes when you set out to do something like that, you almost are disappointed. Whereas we didn't have expectations, so there was nothing to be disappointed by. So when you set out to just have fun and to have a trip and a journey, then that's actually where magic happens the most.
Do you have to apply for that or they follow you along and they ask, like, how does that work?
Yeah, so you don't apply for it as part of the race. They track it, and there's data, and there's a tracker on our boat as well, so they can see where we were, the speed we were going at all times. And actually, for it to be considered a world record, you're not allowed any support whatsoever.
Got
Even when a cruise ship was passing by and we wish they passed us a margarita, they
it.
couldn't do it.
So you, I mean, gosh, you compared to the cruise ship, you must have been like massive, and then to see this little tiny thing, like amazing. Um, so you are now married. You speak to this, you talk to this, but one day when you plan to have a family, say if your kids come to you and say, "I'm going to row across the ocean like this," do you think you'll be as knowing what it takes to go through it? There's something that becomes when you become a parent, if that's on your plan, I don't know if that is or not, but if it is, um, there's something that takes over and you get this like protective thing of that. Would you be as lenient, not as lenient, but as
Permissive.
permissive as your parents were?
No.
Absolutely not. No boyfriend dating, no going out of the house, and no going to boarding school. No, I'm just kidding. Um, it's it's a tough question. So I'm 19 weeks pregnant, which is exciting. So we will
Oh,
be starting a family sooner than expected. But maybe I always joke to my husband, like, maybe we'll be the first family to row an ocean.
Does
He's
he
like,
row? Does
you're
he row?
crazy. He does not, but I think I could persuade him to.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but something that I think, and actually, I just went through a real life example of this with my husband. So my husband had very well a great job at Microsoft for a high tech company, well paid, very stable environment, and he loved it. But he had this dream stirring in his heart to start his own business. And I've always been someone to say, whatever is on that heart, like go and follow your dreams. But then when my husband said this, that he was going to quit his job, he's going to not have a salary or a paycheck for a few months whilst we're pregnant with our first child, I was like, whoa, 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 these things, I don't know if I can be so motivational right now.
Yeah.
But there's a picture that I have framed of a quote, and it's right by my staircase. So every day we go up and down those stairs, I look at it. And I reminded myself when he came to me to say, hey, I want to quit my job, and this is the situation we'll be in. I said, I shared this quote, which was the Mark Twain quote, and it says, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than the ones that you did. So throw off the bow lines, catch the wind in your sails, dare, dream, discover, do. And you have to do that. We're only on this earth for such a short period of time that whether it's my children or my parents or my husband or my friends or anybody that I get to have the honor of speaking to in a corporate setting today, just go and do it because we're only here for a short period of time, and before you know it, it'll be over. So we have to do while we can.
Wow.
hmm.
Whew. I mean, I knew you were amazing. I didn't realize like, wow. I mean, like I just think you're so incredible and just what you've put your mind to, what you've done, how you've bounced back, how you just put your mind to something, how you inspire others. You inspire me. You are just such an incredible human and I'm so grateful to be connected to you. I just think it's outstanding. If our listeners want to learn more about you, you have a website, right? They can go to your website.
I do. My website is my name, so annamclean.com, and my social medias are Anna McLean as well. But no, Jamie, likewise, I've been so grateful to be connected with you through the NSA and things like that. And that's the thing, right? What we do is it's not about us anymore. It's not about our story or my world records. It's about instilling in somebody else that confidence for them to go out and take that leap to do something that they want to do. And that's what I love most about my job now is I'm able to pass the baton to somebody else to go live their life that they're meant to be living.
Well, they are lucky to be in your audience at any time.
I
So
don't think a pregnant woman has ever rode across the Atlantic. It's a woman.
There we
I'm
go.
pretty sure that the shaking of the boat is not recommended for anyone who's pregnant. I'm fairly certain that is not an environment that any pregnant woman needs to be in. Yes.
Has
Uh,
anyone given birth on a boat? Probably.
maybe. Yeah.
That's
The most
Google
Yeah,
records.
yeah. Woo. Well, congratulations on
Great story.
on everything you've accomplished. Keep doing what you're doing. Please, like, keep inspiring others. We can't wait for your book to come out and hear more about that and share that with our listeners. And we're just grateful that you took time today to talk with us.
Let's go. I want to see like
Hopefully, like,
pictures and video.
yeah, I'll show you. What's your number now?
My number?
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, 10. It's
No, no, it doesn't even that high. But mine has definitely gone up just by hearing your story. And it's always a reminder. I love that Mark Twain quote. I think it's outstanding. You actually just triggered something I'm going to change with the way that I speak to groups about some stuff as well, too. Like you've just inspired me about sharing a little bit more about different things. But I mean, like every conversation is so incredible. And I'm just so grateful to have gotten to know you. And I look forward to getting to know you even more as we continue to work together, too. So
Have a
thank
great
you.
baby experience.
Thank you. I'm sure I'll be calling for some top tips. And if any of the listeners have any top tips, let me know
Oh,
as
Be careful. When you are pregnant, everybody has a tip for you. And
Okay.
just, I would say, take it all
Especially
in.
the ones who have no children.
Right, exactly. Oh, yeah. Those are like the best, right? Just take it all in and hear it. But I also think that at the same time, like I know someone who's recently pregnant and like you just can't help yourself. Like you want to help, like it's all it comes from wanting to help other people. And then this person was like, well, I don't want to hear it. Like, don't tell me. I don't want advice. It's like, don't turn yourself off to it either. Just take it all in. People just want to help. And it's so exciting. I mean, growing a human inside you is such an incredible experience along the entire way. And so just, like take the advice, use what you want
You know
to.
what they say, don't
But yeah,
you?
everyone's got advice.
No, they say advice is what you ask for when you really want to hear nothing.
Oh, but people also give unsolicited advice a lot.
Why you look at me like that?
Now we end it. Row your boat.
Downstream.
Thank you, Anna.
What a
Thank you
great
so
story.
much.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
guys.
We'll talk soon. Appreciate
Yeah,
you
and
so
I'll
much.
see you on Tuesday, I think, for the Bloom TV.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, we have to talk about that. Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
let's
we're going to be.
connect on
Yes.
that.
Yes. So we have to talk about. Yes, I forgot about that. Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
guys.
much.
Nice
All
to
right,
meet
bye. Bye.
Give me I
So,
gotta see these videos.
oh my gosh, she's
So wait a minute,
so
wait a minute,
cute.
there was an invisible motor?
What? I
I
don't
was
know.
kidding around saying, did you hurt the hidden motor?
Oh, I don't know.
But she didn't say no. She said, going slow. Let's go see some videos.
I don't know. But I think either way, she's like amazing. I mean,
Oh,
that's like, I cannot imagine being on a boat with either one of my sisters for longer than an hour. We would not come out alive. Somebody would be
didn't
shark
mention
food.
me though. That's good.
Do you think that you and I should apply for the Amazing Race?
I can't do it anymore.
No?
I can barely walk. Are you kidding?
Oh gosh, she was so outstanding. So, I just love that.
These guests keep getting better and better. Maybe it's us.
It could be.
We're law of attraction. We're attracting more and more unique, viable, interesting, spectacular people. Tune in next time.
But everybody's story is like that. Like I feel like everyone that shares their story has that same incredibleness. So yeah.
So when are people going to call in? We're going to give advice. I like giving advice.
We're gonna get to that. I don't forget when this airs, but we're gonna start doing that soon. So we'll talk about that. So if you're not tuning in, you're not following us on social media, you can follow us at Jaime Speaks, JAIME SPEAKS, or follow me. We don't have a separate Instagram for the podcast, so you just follow me, and we'll be doing that soon.
And to end on a famous line from a little ditty, life is but a dream.
And there we go. Have a great day, listener.
Hey, thank you for tuning into today's What's Your Story podcast.
To learn more or share your story, go to jamiemarco.com. That's www.JAIMEMARCO.com. And we